You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. High winds and flood warnings are in effect for Long Island. Meteorologist Rich Von Olin has the latest on the spring nor'easter. Rich, what's going on?
Yeah, big storm, bad storm, a lot of wind, a lot of rain, and a lot of problems throughout the overnight heading into Thursday morning. So if you're in an area, Great South Bay, it normally floods, probably getting that again. And also some very gusty winds. We've had some tree limbs coming down. We've had some, just issues all throughout the island. And this storm is still cranking up. Still coming up the eastern seaboard. We'll talk more about it and time it out for you and tell you what's next and hopefully get a better weekend coming up.
All right, Rich, thanks so much. An MS-13 gang member admitted to his role in the machete deaths of 4 young men. It happened in Central Islip back in 2017. 24-year-old Edwin Rodriguez pleaded guilty in federal court to racketeering. He faces life in prison and is scheduled to be sentenced in September. Now, the victims were attacked with machetes, knives, and other weapons after being lured to the woods. More than a dozen people have been charged in the case over the years. And a special grand jury report on Thomas Valva's abuse case will be released on Thursday. It will break down how Suffolk County handled the case. The 8-year-old boy died of hypothermia after he had to spend the night in an unheated garage back in 2020. His father and father's fiancée were convicted in the boy's killing. And 9 Stony Brook students were arrested last month after a protest over the Israel-Hamas war.
They arrested us under the charges of disorderly conduct and not complying with police to disperse when requested, but we knew we had the right to stand here in this space and peacefully protest. We believe that we have every right to stand here. They told us that we were obstructing university operations.
Students rallied through campus and held a demonstration in an administrative building. There has been multiple protests on campus since Hamas attacked Israel last October. University officials said in a statement, quote, "While we regret this outcome, it is our responsibility to protect the university from disruption, to hold students accountable for behavior that impacts the safety, security, and operations of the university." And first in Newsday, hazmat workers swarmed a local park today after dozens of drums full of chemicals were found buried there. Sherry Einhorn spoke to neighbors about their chemical-filled park.
There is outrage today from some lifelong Bethpage homeowners after hearing that 6 55-gallon chemical drums encased in concrete were discovered last week by contractors drilling a well at Bethpage Community Park.
Total insanity. And God knows how many more there might be under there. It's insane.
We interviewed Lori Franks in 2022. She's convinced her breast cancer is connected to the toxic groundwater plume and soil contamination in Bethpage that's been linked to chemicals used by aerospace giant Grumman over several decades. There's a massive multi-million-dollar cleanup plan that could take decades to complete. A spokesman for Northrop Grumman said, "We remain committed to protecting the health and well-being of the community and to continuing our partnership with New York State DEC and other government regulators to address environmental conditions in the area."
I've had it.
Oyster Bay Supervisor Joseph Saladino accuses Northrop Grumman, Grumman's successor, of dragging its feet, and the State Department of Environmental Conservation for not holding Northrop Grumman more accountable to a speedy and thorough cleanup.
It's outrageous to me that the DEC has yet to force Grumman to remove the soils, consider them hazardous waste, and fully put these soils and contaminants on trucks and truck them out of here.
For its part, the DEC says it is holding Northrop Grumman accountable. According to a statement, field crews found no sign of leakage from the drums. The agency also says preliminary testing of the drums found chlorinated solvents and waste oil and petroleum, which the agency says is consistent with known operations at the former Grumman site.
Homeowners here say they are fed up and frustrated, wondering why things just can't move any faster.
It's been so long now, and it's still not done. It's still not cleaned up.
In Bethpage, I'm Sherry Einhorn for Newsday TV.
And contractors who helped build a dispensary in Suffolk County say they have not gotten paid. Electricians and builders are among workers who may be owed more than $1 million. They helped to build Little Beach Harvest, a dispensary owned by the Shinnecock Indian Nation. Officials of the dispensary declined to comment, though.
Newsday Sports is brought to you by King O'Rourke Automotive Group.
The Islanders are keeping their playoff hopes alive. Andrew Gross tells us how.
The task at hand for the Islanders is quite simple. They just have to keep winning. There's very little margin of error now. With 7 games remaining in the regular season, the Islanders got a huge win on Tuesday night at UBS Arena, rallying for 2 goals in the third period against Chicago for a 2-1 win. That brought them within 2 points of the third-place Flyers in the Metropolitan Division for a playoff spot, and within 1 point of the Capitals for the Eastern Conference's second wild card spot. However, the Capitals have played 1 fewer game, and while the Islanders have played 1 fewer game than the Flyers, the issue is wins. The Islanders simply have fewer wins than any of the other teams competing for the final playoff spots in the Eastern Conference. However, the Islanders do need to produce more offense. To do so, Coach Patrick Waugh reunited Bo Horvat and Matthew Barzal on the top line against Chicago. It did not result in a 5-on-5 goal. However, Barzal did set up Horvat for a crucial power play goal early in the third period to start the Islanders' comeback. The Islanders squeezed into the playoffs last season on the season's final game. They're trying to make another strong run down the stretch. For Newsday TV, I'm Andrew Gross.
Now you can read more about the Islanders. Just click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Candle making for a cause. Virginia Huey has the story you'll see only in Newsday.
It's coming from our hearts.
Amy Musacchio and fellow AHRC clients put a lot of love and care into every candle they make for a new business called Shine the Light.
Today I've been labeling candles and cleaning them and putting the bottom labels on them.
The money raised from candle sales will help pay for the construction of a wheelchair-accessible playground in Farmingville for the League of Yes. For more than a decade, the Baseball League has been giving children with disabilities the chance to play ball.
And while they're raising money for the playground, Shine the Light is also helping AHRC clients build skills that'll help them find jobs in the future.
People that have development disabilities, it's really hard for them to find employment. I think a lot of times people have an assumption because you have a disability that you can't work. The workers here are phenomenal.
Opportunities like this help them to experience what it's like to actually be out in the community, to know what it's like to interact with customers and coworkers and supervisors.
I am so proud.
Amy says the job training has given her confidence to enter the workforce.
It makes me happy when I'm independent and being on my own.
In Hauppauge, I'm Virginia Huey for Newsday TV.
That's awesome. Now to read more exclusive stories like this one, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. All right, now let's take a look at your Long Island weather. Rich, what you got?
All right, we got some big rain and some thunder, some lightning, and some gusty winds. It's a spring storm, but it looks a lot more like what you would see from a winter storm. You got the setup there. You have around Chicago, the main low, secondary low forming over just south of Long Island, and it's cranking up some of the heavy rain. We've had rain totals already of over 1.5 inches and maybe another inch on top of that throughout early tonight. We still have a high wind warning in effect. Some of these winds could gust as high as 60. We've had gusts to 55 already. Some of those gusts southwest corner of Nassau County towards JFK, towards the Woodmere area. So again, some of these will still be going on throughout early tonight, and the winds will eventually drop out for Thursday. It's going to be a little breezy, but really not too bad. And I think we keep the unsettled kind of weather going into Friday and Saturday before things start to get nicer, figured by about Sunday. But still coastal flood warnings too. We've had reports of some flooding now taking place from Freeport to Lindenhurst, Great South Bay. Watch that next cycle for high tides. You got the evening, and then you got the morning on Thursday between about 6, 7, 8 a.m. and then another another one potentially towards Thursday evening, as again, it's going to be tough to get that water out of here with the water piling up there. All right, so the storm itself is going to eventually crank itself up, get out of here, and take off and go into the Gulf of Maine. So we get some quieter but not perfect weather for Thursday and Friday. It's still mostly cloudy. It's still kind of cool. A couple of showers. Maybe Saturday's not so great either. But I think Sunday, if you got some outdoor stuff, probably pick of the weekend, we start to get some drier air coming in. Look at that. That's the the solar eclipse there for Monday. And right now, the weather so far is looking okay. A few clouds, but shouldn't be too bad. Overnight, going into Thursday morning, it's rainy, it's windy. We get some thunder out there, too. Still in the 40s all day Thursday, maybe a little bit better. And then we start to see the real improvements slowly after Saturday. I think by Sunday and Monday, we get some 50s, more sunshine, milder weather. Finally feels like spring into early next week.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Bufa. Thank you so much for joining us.